The police have found a lead. Tuan didn't just crash his bike. He was the target of a brutal hit job. In today's episode, the underground forces officially emerge. A mysterious black car has been secretly tailing the couple for a long time. A kill order is issued right when they are happiest. If he remembers, take him out immediately. What will diem do when she learns her innocent husband actually holds the Achilles heel of a massive corporation? And who is the man who bumped into Tuan at the market? The suspense is hitting its peak. Hit that bell and subscribe right now to join us in decoding the blood code in this breathless episode. Blood. Why are my hands covered in blood? Help me, help. Tuan's scream tore through the quiet night of the poor countryside. He fell backward onto the grass, rubbing his hands together, frantically scrubbing them against the ground, against his clothes, as if trying to wash away some invisible stain that only he could see. Tuan, calm down. There's no blood. Your hands are clean. Diem rushed over, trying to pin down her husband's trembling hands. She used all her strength to hold him down, but the panic had turned Tuan into a different person. He thrashed around, his eyes staring wildly into the void, his breath hissing in gasps like a drowning man. No, it's not clean. It's stuck tight. It's slimy. It smells like copper. Tuan mumbled, tears and sweat mingling as they ran down his pale face. My head hurts so much. It hit me. It wants to kill me. Diem froze. It hit him. It wants to kill him. So, that blood wasn't from him, hurting someone else. She hurriedly cupped his face, forcing him to look at her. Who hit you? Tuan, look at me. Who hit you? You remember, don't you? Tuan let out a sharp breath, his eyes gradually finding focus. He looked at Diem, but the fear was still intact in his gaze. He raised a trembling hand to touch the long scar hidden behind the hair at the nape of his neck, the scar Diem massaged for him every night. It hurt. Tuan whispered, his voice crumbling. I remember. It hurt so much. Under the dim moonlight, Tuan began to recount the fragmented memory he had just pieced together. Every word felt like a slow-motion film replaying a horrific night. That night, it was raining hard. The rain lashed my face, freezing cold. I was running. I didn't know where I was running to or what I was hiding from. I just knew I was terrified. My heart was beating so fast I thought it would explode. Tuan closed his eyes, his body curling up. Then came the footsteps, the sound of shoes stomping in puddles. Thud, thud, thud. It was chasing me. I turned around, and I saw him. Who was he? Diem asked, holding her breath, her hands gripping his shoulders tight. A man, wearing a black raincoat covering his head. I couldn't see his face. Just a tall, looming black shadow like the Grim Reaper. He was holding something, long and hard. Tuan swallowed hard, his throat dry. I tried to scream, but I couldn't. He swung his arm. A deafening crack rang out. My head felt like it split in two. Tuan clutched his head tight, reenacting the movement from the past. I fell into the mud. My ears were ringing. I instinctively brought my hands up to hold my head. And when I held my hands out in front of me, blood gushed from my head. It covered both my hands, bright red, mixing with the rainwater. As Diem listened, her tears fell in time with his words. She felt the pain as if she were the one being beaten. It turned out the image of blood-stained hands haunting Tuan wasn't evidence of a crime, but proof of extreme trauma. He had been hunted. He had been beaten so brutally he lost his memory. What happened next? Did you see anyone else? Diem asked urgently, hoping he remembered where she was in that moment. After that, pitch black. I passed out. When I opened my eyes, vaguely, I saw an old woman wiping my face. She gave me water. She saved me. Tuan sighed, ending the story. The space sank into silence. Insects buzzed like a weeping chorus. Diem stared blankly at Tuan. She waited. She waited for him to continue, waiting for him to say, "And I remember you were there too." Waiting for him to say, "I remember you crying when I fell." But no. Tuan just looked at her with wild, unfamiliar eyes. "Diem." He called her name, but his tone was full of hesitation. "That's all I remember. I saw the rain, the man in black, the old woman, but I tried to tear apart that rainy night." Tuan's voice choked up, and he lowered his head, not daring to look her in the eye. "I didn't see you. In that memory, you weren't there at all." That sentence was like a knife stabbing through Diem's chest, crueler and more final than any rejection. She had been by his side through all those years. She was his lover, his wife, his entire world. Yet in his most life and death moment, his brain chose to record the enemy, the pain, the savior, but completely wiped out her image. Why? Was it because he didn't love her enough? Or because the memory of her was so painful, he automatically rejected it? Diem wanted to scream, wanted to blame the heavens for being so unfair. Had she given up wealth and accepted poverty to be with him only to receive the status of an invisible person in his mind? But seeing Tuan trembling, curling into himself like a wounded animal, Diem's heart melted. She realized her pain was nothing compared to his panic right now. He was alone. He was terrified knowing that he had been hunted. Tuan backed away toward the old cotton tree, leaning against its rough bark, hugging his knees, head hung low. He was running away. He was afraid of the darkness out there, afraid the man in black would return, and afraid of himself for forgetting the kind woman standing right in front of him. Diem wiped her tears. She couldn't be weak right now. If she collapsed, who would protect him? She didn't know who the enemy in the shadows was yet. But she knew one thing for sure. She wouldn't let him hurt Tuan ever again. Diem stepped forward and knelt before Tuan. "Tuan," she called softly. Tuan didn't look up, his shoulders shaking violently. "I'm sorry. I'm a piece of trash. I don't even remember my own wife. I'm so useless." Diem didn't say a word. She gently opened her arms and pulled his thin, cowering frame into her embrace. She held him tight, letting her warmth seep through his thin shirt, chasing away the chill of that rainy memory. She stroked his sweat-soaked back, whispering words as gentle as a lullaby. "It's okay. Don't blame yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't remember me. As long as you're alive, as long as you're here, that's enough." Tuan was stunned. He expected blame, disappointment, but he received only boundless forgiveness. He slowly looked up, resting his head on Diem's shoulder. His tears soaked her shirt. "You aren't angry with me. I am angry. Diem laughed through her tears, her voice choked with emotion. I'm angry at the person who hit you. I'm angry at this cruel fate. But I'm not angry at you. Memories can be lost, but love doesn't need a memory, Tuan. Your heart still races when I kiss you, doesn't it? That's your heart remembering me. In Diem's arms, Tuan's trembling gradually subsided. He felt like a broken boat that had finally found a peaceful harbor after a fierce storm. The shadow of the man in black was still there, lurking in his mind. But now, beside that darkness, was a warm halo of light. That was Diem. However, while holding Tuan, Diem stared into the pitch-black night, her eyes flashing with a cold sharpness never seen before. Who was the man in black? Why did he want to kill Tuan? And did he have anything to do with Tu, her calculating ex-lover? This story wasn't just about regaining memories anymore. This was a battle for survival. And Diem knew the real storm was just beginning. The truth has been half revealed. Tuan is not a murderer. He is the victim of a ruthless plot. Who is that mysterious man in black? Why was Diem wiped from Tuan's memory so strangely? Is Tu behind this? The next morning, the peaceful atmosphere of the small suburban house was shattered by the sound of motorcycle engines and hurried footsteps. Not enemies, but the police. The old woman who had saved Tuan that rainy night after hearing Tuan recount the man in black and the fatal blow had quietly reported it to the authorities. She understood this wasn't an ordinary bike accident. This was an attempted murder. 2 officers walked into the yard, their faces stern. Tuan was sitting on the porch, fidgeting with the hem of his shirt. Seeing the uniforms, he shrank back. An invisible fear triggered inside him. To an amnesiac, any stranger with an air of authority could be a threat. Diem rushed out, shielding Tuan like a mother hen protecting her chick. She grabbed his hand, transmitting warmth to calm the trembling spreading through her husband's body. Good morning. We received a report about a serious assault occurring on the night of the 15th last month. The older officer spoke up, his sharp eyes observing the long scar on the back of Tuan's neck. We need to take the victim's statement to open an investigation file. The interrogation took place right at the rickety wooden table on the porch. The tension was tight as a guitar string. Every question from the police felt like a drill, boring deep into Tuan's unhealed wound. Do you remember any identifying features of the perpetrator? Do you have any conflicts regarding money or love? Before being attacked, where were you going? Who were you meeting? Tuan clutched his head. The questions were forcing his brain into overload. I don't remember. Tuan stammered, sweating profusely. Just black clothes, rain, and pain. So much pain. Watching her husband struggle to ransack his memories in vain, Diem's heart constricted. She clearly saw the helplessness and panic in his eyes. The younger officer took notes, then turned to whisper to his colleague, but loud enough for Diem to hear. This type of wound is a professional hit. The attacker wasn't a petty thug. He wanted to take the victim's life with a single blow to the skull. It's a miracle the victim survived. That sentence sent a chill down Diem's spine. A professional hit, taking a life. So it wasn't a robbery. Someone truly wanted Tuan dead. What was the reason? Why would a gentle man like Tuan living a normal life become the target of such a brutal purge? Did it have to do with his work as an architect? Or had he accidentally seen something he shouldn't have? when the police left, promising to extract security footage from the area. Though hope was slim, due to the rain and deserted roads, Tuan still sat there dazed like a soulless shell. The dull headache returned to torment him. He kept scratching at the scar, staring blankly out at the grapefruit orchard. Diem watched him from a distance, the pain rising in her throat choking her. She wanted him to remember. She yearned to hear him call her name with full consciousness. She wanted to know who the enemy was to make them pay. But was this fragile peace the price they had to pay? Watching Tuan writhe in pain, struggling with jagged fragments of memory, Diem felt cruel. She was forcing a man who had just returned from the dead to relive his most terrifying moments. No, Diem told herself. If remembering hurts this much, then it's better to forget. I need him to be happy, not a husband who remembers everything but lives in fear. She took a deep breath, wiped away a tear threatening to fall, and pasted on her brightest smile before walking over to Tuan. "Hey, Tuan!" Diem called out loudly, her cheerfulness forced to chase away the gloomy atmosphere. Tuan started looking up with bewildered eyes. "The grapefruits are really ripe today. Do you want to harvest them with me and take them to the market? I heard the market is really busy today. Mrs. Ba is selling her sweet soup too." Tuan looked at Diem. His gaze softened when he saw her smile. Go to the market. Yes, to the market, to clear our heads. Don't think about the police anymore. Let them handle everything. Our job is to earn money to buy rice and buy candy for you." Diem teased, pinching his cheek lightly. Tuan laughed. It was a gentle, innocent laugh, but it eased some of the tension. "Okay, I'll go. I want to help you." The couple rode the old bicycle again, baskets of golden, fragrant grapefruit strapped to the back. The cool wind blew brushing Diem's hair against Tuan's face. He sat on the back, timidly, wrapping his arms around her waist. The hug was loose, but it gave Diem a strange sense of security. She wished this road would go on forever. No past, no men in black, no police investigations. Just the two of them, relying on each other to survive. At the district market, Tuan was buzzing with excitement. He bustled around, helping Diem arrange each grapefruit on the plastic tarp spread on the ground. Delicious grapefruit. "Very sweet grapefruit, folks," Tuan called out. At first, his voice was tiny and shy, but seeing Diem's encouraging smile, he shouted louder. Passers-by saw a handsome but seemingly slow young man alongside a sharp, pretty wife and bought out of pity and support. Tuan fumbled with the scale and the money. Sometimes he gave the wrong change, and when a customer corrected him, he scratched his head and smiled apologetically, his face flushing red. Diem stood by his side, gently correcting him without a single word of scolding. She watched him laughing, with customers watched him cherish every small bill he earned. He looked so normal right now, so happy. But that innocent happiness felt like salt rubbed into Diem's wounds. The man standing in front of her should have been sitting in an air-conditioned office designing skyscrapers. He should have been discussing billion-dollar projects, not rejoicing over selling a grapefruit for 20,000 dong. The villains had stolen his brilliant future, turning him into this overgrown child. Diem turned her face away, secretly wiping her tears. Her heart broke for him. She loved him so much. A fierce hatred for whoever was behind this flared up inside her. Who could be cruel enough to do this? Diem, look, all done. We sold everything. Tuan's cheer cut through her thoughts. He ran over, showing off the handful of small bills, his eyes sparkling like stars. Will you go buy meat? Let's eat braised pork today. Diem smiled, holding his calloused hand. Yes, braised pork. Let's eat until we're full. While Diem went to buy the meat, Tuan waited by the ancient banyan tree at the market entrance watching over the bicycle. His mind was fairly clear right now. The grapefruit and the laughter had temporarily pushed back the ghosts of his memory. However, Tuan had no idea that across the street, a luxury black car was parked silently. The window rolled down halfway. Cold eyes behind sunglasses were watching his every move. The person in the car picked up a phone, speaking concisely. Target located. He's not dead. But it seems he's lost his memory. A chilling voice rang out from the other end. Amnesia. Or is he faking it? Don't get complacent. What he holds is more important than his life. Test him. If he's truly forgotten, let him go. But if he remembers even a little bit, clean him up immediately. Meanwhile, at the district police station, the young officer rushed into the captain's office holding a freshly printed file. Report we've verified the identity of the victim, Dong Van Tuan, more thoroughly. And we found a very strange detail in his old medical records before the accident. What detail? The captain asked. 2 months ago, before the attack, Tuan went to the city police to report a crime. But the report was mysteriously withdrawn shortly after. And the person he reported is linked to a major real estate corporation back at the market. Tuan was standing there staring blankly at the crowd. Suddenly, a stranger well-dressed, but pretending to be a passerby, slammed into Tuan's shoulder. "Sorry," the man said, but his hand moved lightning fast, stuffing something into Tuan's jacket pocket, before disappearing quickly into the throng of people. Tuan started touching his pocket. A piece of paper. He opened it curiously. There were no words, just a strange drawing in red ink. A bleeding eye. Instantly, Tuan's headache exploded more violently than ever. That eye. He had seen it somewhere. On the ring of the man in black that night, the enemy had found him. They were right here. Tuan collapsed at the base of the banyan tree, clutching the paper, his mouth moving soundlessly. Diem returned with the meat. Seeing her husband convulsing on the ground, she screamed, dropping the food bag. "Tuan, what's wrong?" But this time, Tuan wasn't just scared. He stared at Diem eyes wide and gasped out a sentence that froze the blood in her veins. "Diem, run. They are watching you." Dear friends, the underground force has begun to reveal itself. Tuan isn't just a victim of a jealous rage or a personal grudge. He holds the secret to a much larger crime involving powerful people. Is the note with the bleeding eye a warning or a death sentence? And who is the mysterious man in the black car? Their fake peaceful life is over. From this moment, Diem and Tuan officially enter a race against death. Subscribe to the channel right now to breathlessly follow the next episode, The Blood Code and the Escape in the Night.